And there we go. Alrighty. How's it going, Leo? It's been a
Doing
while.
all right.
It's been a while since season 3 ended here, so little silence coming on through. But you guys have actually been getting super busy here at WGW. So how's it been going after that?
Oh, it's after season 3 of the TCC, we made some big moves, and a lot of it not at any fault of my own personally. A lot of people came reaching out, so we had the ability to make 3 more rosters on top of that, and they're all plugging away doing their own thing. I'm kind of hands off with all of it, but I'm proud of the team that I was able to help create to facilitate an environment to be able to field 4 rosters all together. So it's been a lot of fun after the TCC. So that's kind of what we've been up to, making sure that they're staying busy and whatnot.
It's good to hear. The 3 teams, so I know there's the main roster, which is the one that participated in TCC, but there's 2 others. What are those?
So the blue roster, which is the main one, is currently on hiatus, regrettably. We felt it was best to kind of move some parts around to help create new rosters to fit in new people who are eager to play. So we've got white, we've got gold, we've got and violet.
Mhm.
White, gold, violet, and red. That's what we've got going on right now. We've got our high elo team, which is red, gold, which is our EU team, violet, our academy team, and white, which is kind of taken on the new main roster type thing. There isn't necessarily a new main roster anymore. So
Mm.
what's cool about that is that they're all kind of out doing their own things, playing in whatever tournaments that they want to do. Like our EU team, gold, they took second place at some cool tournament over in the EU. Regrettably, not too informed on what's going on in the EU, but they got to face some really, really solid teams, and they held their own, taking second, only falling short to a top 50 team in the EU, which is still
I mean,
very exciting.
that's something. That's
Yeah,
new. That's
and
really big news.
yeah,
Honestly,
and
congrats.
thank you, thank you. And our red team, they actually just got their first VLR experience under their belt. I'm sure they didn't play as well as they thought they'd want to, but it's experience nevertheless, which is what I'm most excited about.
Mhm.
So they've got a VLR profile now, which is awesome. And Violet is just starting to take the training wheels off, getting reps in, doing scrims and all that, getting geared up to do whatever tournaments that they want to do. And White's still plugging away, hopefully. Um, hopefully we'll start doing some tournaments and leagues, getting that experience under their belt. So it's all been very exciting for us. So that's what we've been busy doing.
And so you say we as the group, but you specifically, where is your hand kind of coming into this? Because you mentioned like everyone coming to you. So are you kind of delegating? Are you a head figure, or is there kind of something more to Leo?
It's honestly awesome. So before the advent of all these teams, we we had the main roster pretty much for the most part, which is just the one roster that participated in the TCC. I was kind of the head figure, like you said, delegating the work and whatnot. But through some blessings and networking, getting to meet people, learn new faces and whatnot, we were able to acquire some really good key staff members who were able to kind of take some of that workload off of me. And a lot of it is kind of like a perpetual machine in itself. They're all kind of doing their own things without me having to get too much involved into it. All that I'm pretty much doing is maintaining a positive image,
Mhm.
really managing the social media side of everything so regarding like Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, that's all me. Graphic design, all me. But when it comes to like the individual rosters themselves, they have their own roster manager and coach, and they are incredibly excited to bolster these teams further and get them all ready to show everyone what WGW is about. And that's kind of what I like to say. Me and kind of like my right hand man or gal, however you want to say it, M. Her and I are kind of the 2 people who do all this hiring, and we found very, very good people who we think can best represent what we want to be represented as an org. And they're all nose to the grindstone, no funny business, just getting work done, keeping their heads down. And it's been awesome seeing what these guys can do.
And did you always plan for WGW to kind of turn into this, or is this just kind of following the flow and kind of letting whatever happens or what kind of comes on your plate take you to the next step?
So this was kind of started as just like an experiment to see what could happen with it. We started out in August of 24, so we're knocking on 2 years already. On the 13th of August, I believe, and it was just a little server for me and my buddies to just try our hand out at organized competitive Valorant. And then we did our first season of the TCC, which was season 2, I believe. Didn't pan out how we wanted to. Oh well. Then we did season 3. Really started bolstering our social medias, getting a name out there, creating a brand for ourselves that we can latch onto, that we can have other people latch onto. And then after the TCC season 3 ended, people just came flooding in,
Mhm.
and I don't want to take all the credit for that. I think for the people or for my players who participated in the TCC played a huge hand in that, in showing them what we're about, how serious that we can be, how and on the same page how light and fun that we can make our environment be, and how conducive it can be to make not only you a better player but the team play better as a whole. And I think that's something that we all helped create to show what we're about and what made us really look good for people wanting to come to us. So I've always wanted to grow it as big as I could, honestly, and I still do want to do that, and we're still taking steps to do that. So with the advent of these 4 teams, including our EU team, the next step for us is to definitely step into the tier 3 scene, which I think is
That's a
honestly going to come sooner rather than later. To be
that is
honest
a
with you,
that's
it's
a
kind of crazy.
big step though,
It
right?
is. It really is. But we've been doing a lot of networking. Honestly, I've got to meet some really cool people, and I think that's something that we can do in the coming months. To be honest with you, or even something as soon in the second half of the year, where we can start getting our feet wet in the tier 3 scene, which would be really awesome. Like I'm fully prepared for us to get like our teeth kicked in and whatnot, but that's the name of the game. I'm not coming out expecting us to like win Ascension or anything or win challengers or anything, but just getting our name out there, giving good players, good honest people experience in the tier 3 scene, helping them fulfill their dreams as a professional Valorant player or esports player. It doesn't even need to be Valorant necessarily. Valorant is just honestly what we've specialized in. That's kind of the hand that was dealt to us. So we're playing that hand right now. But that's definitely something that I believe that, or rather, I know that we're capable of doing in the coming months. So it's really exciting.
And if I don't mind, as an outsider, I hear a lot of people talk about kind of growing into the tier 3 scene. But tier 3, from where I come from, is a very like fairly structured process. You have like a couple different tournaments you go to, and these tournaments are very vocal about being like the premier tier 3 destination. But off of like very brief and not in depth looking, I can't quite find where that tier 3 exists. So if I don't mind asking, kind of where is that tier 3 scene existing here in Valorant?
So when the first tournament that we played in that gave us a VLR page, we're playing against tier 3 teams. It's kind of like the Wild West in that regard. It's from me looking at it myself, it's not nearly as structured as everyone makes it out to be.
Mm-hmm.
Like, shoot, you could be a tier 3 player right now if you'd want. Honestly, if you want to define yourself as a tier 3 team, in my personal opinion, you'd want to keep repetition creates legitimacy. You keep playing in these events. Um, it's not like you're getting paid a lot of money or anything. It's more of a passion project more than anything. So in that regard, like I literally found this tournament on a Twitter post and it was like, hey, sign-ups close in like 48 hours.
Yeah.
There was like a few slots open. We did it. We got a VLR page. Easy as that, So
and
like
it's just a rank. It's not like a destination to go to. It's just like if the tournament is like MO3 and up or MO2 and up, that's just a tier 3 tournament now.
I guess so. Yeah, like we're playing against solid tier 3 teams in that sense. Like it's not nearly as organized as everyone makes it out to be, honestly.
Hmm.
Like it's not like a solid cutoff between tier 2 and tier 1 or anything below tier 2 going into tier 2. It's not like those cutoffs right there. But like tier 3, you're playing a bunch of open events, really. That's pretty much what it is, just playing open events from what I've seen. Like if anyone can correct me on that, please
Yeah,
correct me on it. But
I just looked
I've done
because I hear tier 3 so often, and I'm like, where is this? I just want to know where. And even
yeah,
like you're
exactly.
interacting with, it, you're like, I don't really know either. It's kind of a funny situation.
Yeah, so like just getting our guys into good open events,
Mhm.
making sure that they're fully prepared for that. Like I could call Red a tier 3 team right now if I wanted, but I'm not gonna do that. Like um, something that I appreciate about People's Keep is being pretty straight laced, and I'll be straight laced. Like no, we're not a tier 3, tier 3 team. We've played in one open event, open qualifier. That's what it is. You got to earn that title,
Mhm.
and you just got to keep doing the reps. That's what it is. So I think we can get in a good spot to be a good competitive team in the tier 3 scene. So
Kind of diverting a little bit back into the smaller fish to fry here at TCC specifically. Kind of looking for your thoughts as a manager and as an owner of an org that participated in this season. There was a little bit more than a little controversy throughout, and so I'm kind of looking for your perspective, not just as like a staff member, but more specifically as like a team, and then we can maybe talk of like your perspective, maybe specifically as a staff member at TCC.
yeah, to be honest with you, as we kind of brushed upon in the green room per se, if you'd want to call it that,
Yeah.
before we started recording. Um, you kind of have to understand the demographic that you're working with, and a lot of that is generally younger people. And what you get with younger people is that these controversies play a much bigger role in their life. It's like kind of like, or in their day rather, because they haven't lived as much days. So it's like, oh my God, the world's ending. I never really looked too much into it. What I kept telling my players, even after a win, after a loss, or even like if we weren't even playing, don't interact with it, please. Like, don't fan the fire. Don't fuel the fire. Like, I always kept my nose out of it, especially not only as a manager but as a staff member. Is like just keeping your nose out of it. You want to look at things objectively, and these controversies kind of like taint your perspective on things. And it's your job as a staff member to keep things as objective as possible, and you're not doing your community a favor. You're doing them a disservice if you start getting some hidden biases like that. So regarding the controversies, I just honestly told myself and my players to just stay out of it. Don't even interact, don't read on it. So that's what I did with it. So not the response that we were wanting probably,
Not
but that's how I do. That's what I did. So
business. Very
yeah.
very business, very looking towards the future. That's not a bad thing. When you and me are not necessarily here to stir up controversy as a caster and an org owner, more so as like
Yeah.
a player may like want to spin up everything, but we're here to kind of get something done and put out a product, I guess. So not a bad perspective, but then looking at WGW specifically, I think you guys were what, third, fourth is where you guys
We
placed.
were
Fourth, fifth? I can't remember. I'm so sorry. I
uh
can't remember.
we cashed out. I think we got fourth place. Yeah, we
Fourth
got
place.
fourth place.
So
Yes.
how is that results based on like the expectations? Because talking to Mel going into the season, or going kind of like middle of the season into playoffs and stuff, you guys were really anticipating like hard competing. And is fourth what you guys were expecting with competition, or is it maybe a little short?
So things got cut off a little short, but um when the season ended, I reminded my players once again that like this was way beyond my expectations personally. So starting out, we weren't even planning on making it into the TCC as a team because we missed the signups. We just formed our roster like a day prior before before the signups had closed, and then I talked to Jude. I'm like, can you put us on a waiting list in case if a team drops out? And he's like, yeah, we can do that. Sure enough, team dropped out. We got put in. Literally not even we didn't even scrim before week 1 started, and I think that was against Noxilus, I think, and we ended up 2-1ing them, I believe.
It
And
was I think it was my first cast.
yeah,
It was
maybe.
might have been. I
We
remember
ended up
Noxilus.
2-1ing them, which was shocking because that was the first or second time that we'd ever played together as a roster. And I wasn't even playing them because I didn't even want to play. I just wanted to solely focus on managing. So we go throughout the season and whatnot, and just we make it into playoffs. Uh, Not even before playoffs, our IGL had to step back for personal reasons. Totally respect it. So then I had to step in because I was kind of like the only one who was comfortable enough IGLing. So I think after the week we had played Egoists, I was stepping in as the IGL sub. We played out through all that into playoffs, and then we played against WGG in the final playoffs. We lost 1-2 on that. That was a bit regrettable. There's a lot of things that could have been cleaned up. Honestly, it's a bunch of little things that just added up into just um, rounds not being converted, and that's something that you can always clean up. So after the season ended, we took 4th place or 3rd place, whatever the two. I honestly don't remember,
Third,
regrettably, but
third,
I
fourth.
just yeah, 4th place. And then I reminded the players like, hey, keep in mind, I had no expectations going into this. Like, you guys should be incredibly proud of yourselves. Like, we've only been a roster for as long as season 3 has been around, and we took 4th place against some pretty formidable opponents compared to ourselves. We lost our IGL. I had to step in. I haven't played Valorant in months, and we took 4th place. So, like, just give yourselves a pat on the back in that regard, because like we hadn't had half the reps as many of these teams have had, and we just only became friends like 6 weeks ago or something crazy like that, and we were able to squeak out a 4th place in this large scale tournament that went across like almost 2.5 months. So you have to give yourself some perspective in that regard. So me personally, I am incredibly happy and proud of the people of my players and the people who played in the TCC, because like we didn't get reps together as a team and we were able to squeak out 4th place. But if you ask my opinion as a player, I was a little disappointed that we dropped the match against WGG to go into the lower finals. There's a lot of things that needed to be cleaned up, but again, as a manager, as a person with perspective and retrospect, 4th place is something that I'm incredibly happy with. It's definitely went way above my expectations. So that's more commentary on them than I. Like, they made it happen, so they're great people, and them getting 4th place shows how great of people that they are. So
That's good to hear. And you mentioned kind of playing, so we'll kind of direct a little into that and kind of learning your experience in gaming and esports. So I always like to kind of ask, what do you remember, like your first experience coming across an esport? Do you remember like specifically what that was, um, at all? I know it's kind of it's a really kind of out of field question because some people don't exactly remember. You just encounter it
yeah,
one day and it slowly becomes more and more part of your day.
so my very first experience with an esport was 13, 14 years ago. Um, Back then I didn't play video games unless you want to count like the GameCube,
Hmm,
um, or like the Wii.
fine.
But I remember seeing Counter-Strike Global Offense being on the TV on TBS.
It's
For whatever reason, they were on TBS, and I watched it, and I was like, "Wow, that's really cool," and then just never turned it back on again.
oh,
But if we want to get more recent,
Mhm.
me really getting into the esports scene was when I first built my PC back in 2023, and my brother was showing me Valorant, and so I picked it up and whatnot. Started playing it, thought it was pretty fun. I played with him for a minute, and then he stopped playing it, but I just kept going along with it.
Mhm.
And then over the course of those 2 years, almost 3 years now, we're right here now. I'm
You're
having a little I'm having a discussion with you.
yeah, you're
But
you're
so
running an org and you've played in tournaments and all. I mean, it's a little bit, but that's a so Valorant it was essentially just kind of like a happenstance, like a family member, your brother, you said, directed you to the
yeah,
game. But
it
why
was
stick
definitely a
with it?
happenstance.
Because you
I just
encountered CS first, maybe not understanding that you encountered E-League Season 1 on TBS, which is a notorious tournament in CS, but
yeah,
that's a crazy pull. Why
it
stick with
is a
Valorant
crazy
though?
pull. I don't know. I thought it was really fun. I didn't touch Counter Strike at all up until about a year ago. But I started playing Valorant before I started playing Counter Strike. But I just stuck with it because I thought it was a really fun game. I played. I guess if you want to get into the weeds, I played a ton of Overwatch when it dropped in 2016, up until about. I still play a ton of Overwatch now, really. Overwatch was my game for a very long time. I played it on console. Then when I got built my PC, I played it on PC alongside Valorant. But Valorant just felt like a more conducive space to competitiveness. It just made a bit more sense in my head than Overwatch. I still love Overwatch. I've got thousands of hours into it, but I really met the people that I still am in contact with now through Valorant. And when it comes to building teams, and when I built the first team under WGW back in August of 24, those were the people that I was playing with, and what made playing video games that much more fun than solo queuing ranked on Overwatch. So that's why I kind of stuck with Valorant, and even watching E League back in like what was it, 2012 or 2013.
I think 12.
It was interesting to watch, but 12 years ago I was 11 years old, so
Hmm.
it didn't really stick with me that much. So, but a Valorant, honestly, a lot. I got lucky with the people that I met in Valorant initially because they're not like the grand majority of the people in the Valorant space. Because if I'm going to keep it a buck, I don't
Go
really
go.
care for a lot of them. I
Yeah,
don't really care for a lot of the people in the
it's
Valorant scene.
okay. That's this is a space where that's okay. I have definitely encountered some characters. Not necessarily specifically with like TCC and all these competitors, but
No,
definitely like playing the game.
yeah,
You
a
meet some
lot of the people
creatures.
a lot of the people in the TCC are great.
Yeah.
And a lot of the people who play Valorant, they're not necessarily my cup of tea. I'm never going to give them any type of disrespect or anything. They're
Mm.
just not the people that I'd surround myself with. The people that I did meet playing Valorant are not people who come dime a dozen. And I'm still in contact with them, and I absolutely love them as people. But when it comes to like people in the video game scene, esports scene, they're not necessarily people that I'd surround myself with. But the people that I've surrounded myself with now are people that I'm forever indebted to. Like a lot of the people who helped me run WGW, a lot of the people who helped me get WGW afloat in the beginning, a lot of the people in the TCC, fantastic human beings. You know, like people like Jude, he's awesome. C Jiggles, he's hilarious. He's a character, but he's hilarious. um,
Hmm.
people of that nature. My buddy Josh, who helps me run WGWM. You've got Mel. I love Mel. All those people in the TCC and WGW. They're what makes it worth it for me today. And especially when I can give players a platform, especially people that I don't necessarily know too well. A lot of the people who just joined our new rosters, I am forever indebted to them because they're what makes this possible for me, and they're what makes me want to keep doing this. So that's why I stuck with Valorant, despite the amount of creatures who play Valorant. A lot of these people are what make it worth it, and I love being able to interact with them every day. So that's why I stuck with Valorant.
It's good. Now, thinking of the teams thing, I think a trap that I've seen a lot of orgs fall into is when you kind of get this like inkling or desire to expand teams and create more and do more, get bigger, you know, like actually wanting to turn this from a single team little operation into some actual tangible team, is they always go to other games. I want to know if that ever crossed your mind, or was it always like the intention was Valorant all the way, we're going to be a Valorant org?
So, we have wanted to go into different games, but I kind of made an executive order or decision rather to strictly stick to Valorant. Same thing with building teams. We had the opportunity to make one or two more, but I hard capped it at four because um, we don't necessarily have the assets as in like time, staff, just number of people who you can trust and can delegate responsibility to in that regard. And I didn't want to spread us too thin because I honestly think giving less teams the best product you possibly can is better than just spreading your reach as far as you can,
Mm-hmm.
especially in the marketing sense. Like, I want to create, like, my number one priority has been and still is to give people the best platform to improve as a player and with a team. And I think keeping it within Valorant and keeping it capped at 4 teams for now is the best way to do that. But I will say the next step is to going into Counter Strike, which would be really fun. There's some fun open tournaments, and
There
we're
is.
building a team for it.
Yeah.
So I'll be a part of that team also, because I personally like playing Counter Strike more than Valorant, a lot more. But we're gonna do
Feel
that. But
vindicated.
we're gonna make sure that our 4 teams are in a great spot first. That is my number
Mm-hmm.
one priority, because what I want to do is to make sure that they're in the best spot possible for success. And in order to do that, you want to keep your team small. You want to keep your staff small. And then once you solidify that, and once you can build up enough trust and rapport with them, then you can then only then you can start expanding a bit more, a little bit at a time. So for now, we're going to stick to Valorant. We're going to stick with the 4 teams because um, to also improve your team, you want to encourage competitiveness. So put a little fire under their ass. Like,
Mm-hmm.
people want to join. People want to join us, and you don't want to lose your spot. You got to improve. Like, there's a key role in that, and keeping things small. You increase chemistry, team chemistry. You build friendships, relationships, and that's also really conducive to increasing the skill of your teams. So there's a lot that goes into play with that, and 4 is the magic number for us right now, because right now our staff is only 4 people. So we're doing a great job with that.
The magic number is oh so conveniently also the amount of staff you have. You know, it's
Yeah,
it's not,
exactly. 4.
it's not bad there. But you mentioned, you know, people want to join you, and you got reached out to a ton of people. That definitely means you had to turn some people away building a team. How do
Yeah.
you kind of view building a team? Do you kind of look at it the kind of more traditional old school sense of bring firepower and let chemistry flow later, or do you kind of prioritize chemistry and results come?
So, I've actually burnt a few bridges with my philosophy on team building, but
Okay, you need to as a manager.
yeah, yeah. So I come from a philosophy of like, so I come from a background of baseball.
Hmm.
I grew up playing baseball my entire life. I played baseball since I was 3 years old up until 2 years ago, and I was playing D2 baseball as a pitcher. Um, and what it comes with that is how you look at things that aren't tangible. So, in baseball, you have batting average, on base percentage, those types of statistics. But when you're scouting out players, you look at the intangibles, like how good is their locker room presence? How well do they understand the fundamentals of the game? Are they intuitive? Are they okay people to be around? Do people like being around them? I kind of look more at the intangibles. So, and I kind of build teams in the sense that, what is our team going to look like 6 months down the road, a year down the road, 2 years down the road? That's how I build our team. Like, even if it means we're not playing at our best performance right now, even if we're not playing at our ceiling right now, how high is our ceiling going to look like at 6 months, a year, 2 years down the road type of deal? So that's how I build my team. So I prioritize team chemistry. I prioritize, are they going to be a much better player X amount of time down the road than they are now? That's what I look at. So, like, yes, I like to get some good fraggers on the team. There's normally one or two of those immediately off rip. But outside of that, I prioritize team chemistry. Are they enjoyable to play with? Like, honestly, the number one thing to building a successful team is making sure that they have fun. So you want to get guys in there that have good locker room presence. And that's what I do. So, like, I'm not going to drop names, but there's this one player who played with us the first time that we were on the TCC. Didn't play that great, but he had an incredibly high ceiling. And you could just tell he wanted to learn about the game. Every time he played in a TCC match, he was sweating his ass off. And we didn't get the results that we wanted, but I wanted to keep him around. A lot of people got pissed. So we dropped him. I don't care. I'm protecting this player because I can see the potential that he will have a year down the road. Sadly, he's since left the org, but sure enough, he literally climbed up to Ascendant in like 2 months' time. You know, he was gold when he played with us. Now he's Ascendant. He had a really high ceiling, and I feel really good that I was right about that. So the people that I dropped, flick off, get out of here. But that's my priorities. I prioritize locker room presence, chemistry. Are they a student of the game? Because anyone can aim a gun. Like, just play Kovacs, play aim labs. Anyone can aim a gun, but not anyone can have a good locker room presence, and not anyone can be a student of the game. Are they teachable? Not everyone's teachable. That's what I look at. I look at the intangibles more than anything.
Not bad. That's a much more thought out philosophy than I honestly expected. But I guess that comes with the baseball background. I imagine maybe a little influence from the hit Moneyball movie, but you definitely a little more than that.
Does he get on base?
Does he get on base? Exactly. Does he keep the team together tomorrow? Is a good perspective, and I think that's something a lot of people do forget about, especially when you're hitting tournaments like every couple of weeks. So it doesn't necessarily matter if the team sticks together, because you can just make a new one. The tournament will always be there, and someone will want to play in it. So I do like that you're kind of planning for sticking around for a little longer and taking a more mature approach. But kind of looking at the goals, you mentioned, going into tier 3, expanding into CS, into like kind of a little more home ground game for your personal tastes. But social media wise, you are still posting and stuff. So what are your kind of goals specifically on the social media end?
So right now we do have a TikTok, we have a Twitter, an Instagram, and a YouTube account. Basically, my two focuses right now are on Instagram and Twitter, and my goal with those aren't necessarily to get more inbound in that regard, which is always great. Like, we do get some inbound through that, obviously, because I do think I do a pretty decent job in that regard. But my main goal is to just get the community talking that we already have. My philosophy regarding that is to get the community talking and keep them engaged, because an engaged community in itself is your own advertising. Like, literally, marketing 101, what's the strongest form of advertising? Word of mouth. So if you can bolster that word of mouth, if you can keep your community engaged and talking, your already built community, you'll get more down the road. You'll be able to grow it organically in that regard. Again, I'm always thinking like long term. Like, if I wanted to, I could spend so much money and just on like Instagram, paid advertising, YouTube, Twitter.
Those never hit. Those don't hit, man. But you can pay.
They're hit or miss.
Yeah,
you can pay, and you could get like a lot of people if you really wanted to just join your server. Well, is that like a good? Is that a good community member? Are they gonna contribute to your community the way that you want them to? More often than not, no. So when it comes to that, I'm not necessarily worried about getting our member count growing really fast. Like it's steadily growing. But what I'm more worried about is bolstering the community that we already have. And how do I do that through social media? I just post game day threads. I post finals. I get them talking. I kind of anyone can see it on Twitter. I kind of do a little shit talk between other organizations and tournaments that we're in. It gets them talking. It builds rapport. It builds friendships. They can have something to rally behind. You want them to believe in you and your product and your teams. And how do you do that? You got to get them talking. And you don't tell them what to say. They'll say it for you. So when they say it for you, they're like, "Wow, I thought of this. I'm gonna stick behind this." Like you don't want to put words in their mouth. And when you keep your social media like an open discussion board for everyone, that's how you get the most organic growth, in my opinion. And that type of organic growth is what promotes long-term growth and health down the road. So that's like my philosophy with it. Like I'm not the best graphic designer, VFX, video editing. I just post silly little game day threads, silly little final threads, or like roster transaction announcements, and it gets the community talking, and that's all that I could want right now. Like down the road, yes, I'll do a little bit more with it, but right now for me, we're in a great spot regarding social media, and as long as I keep my community engaged, I think what we're doing is a big hit and success for me. So that's my philosophy on our social media presence.
Bad. Is there like a numeric goal at all to hit, or is it just kind of as long as you're continuing to see steady growth, you're okay and content?
So ideally, like it's always fun to make goals for yourself. Like by the end of the year, if we hit 400 community members, accomplished. But it's not the end of the world if I don't hit it. I'm not too worried about. I'm not too pressed about that. So like again, just keep fostering an organic growth in the community. That's my number one. Like, but if like we wanted to put a number on it, 400 by the end of 2026, that would be pretty cool. But um, in that regard, I'm not really measuring our success by how many people are in our Discord server or how many followers we have on X, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. That's not necessarily what I'm about. If anything, I'm more focused on what are our teams doing. I'd like to measure our success more on how our teams and community is doing than how many members are actually in our server. So that's kind of like my thought on it.
Good to hear. Good to hear. And then the last kind of little thing before we wrap up here is the Heart and Soul series specifically. I kind of asked. It's made specifically the wording that I'm seeing is like made in support of one of your former or current players, Mel. But you're one of the organizers, if I'm not mistaken. So kind of a little space to kind of talk maybe a little more about that than the single image that I've seen.
Yeah, so um I've always wanted to do something in that regard for a while. Like, the statistic, like 1 in 3 people will get diagnosed with cancer at some point in their life, if I'm not mistaken on that one. But I've personally had family affected by it. My mother had it, grandparents had it. It's just the way of life. But it affects people differently. It affects me. It affects you. But notably, Mel has it, and she's been battling with that for a while. But we had the privilege of having her on our team. She's still very involved and active in our community, and it's an absolute blessing to have her along. She's an absolute joy to be around. But just one day, like a few weeks ago, Jude just came up to me like, "Yo, we're doing this big thing." Like, yeah, what is it? And it was the Heart and Soul series. So got on board with that and quickly became an organizer for that event. Um, it's going to be a 12-hour stream on the 17th. Sadly, I will not be in attendance for it. Work has me going across the state for the weekend, and I will not be in attendance, sadly, but I'm doing everything that I can and in my power to make sure it runs as smoothly as possible and it's as fun for all the community who wishes to engage with that. But the biggest thing was that Mel wanted us to we gave her the choice to pick a charity or an organization that in which we donate all of our money to, and she chose St. Jude's, which I thought was a fantastic choice because my family personally, has always donated to St. Jude's. So all the proceeds, all the donations, whatever we make in sponsorship money will go to that. Like, we've been reaching out to companies to help sponsor us to donate towards that. We have a GoFundMe. It's not linked on the WGW Twitter yet, but it is linked on the Heart and Souls Twitter. I shared it around in my server and whatnot in my community, but all the proceeds will go to St. Jude's. But we're gonna have a lot of fun mini games. I don't necessarily know what's going on with that yet. Other people in management will know what's going on with that more specifically, but most notably, we're gonna have best of 3 Swift plays, interactive Swift plays, which will be really fun, and best of 1 standard show matches. A lot of organizations have got their hand in this cookie jar, and there's going to be a lot of reach, and it's going to be really fun with a bunch of people interacting with each other, helping to, just to play Valorant and helping fight the good fight against cancer. And it's probably it's the undertaking that I'm most proud of, because cancer is a really big prevalent issue today. And if there's something that we can do about it, that's definitely something that I want to do. And if I can, I definitely want to make this a recurring event, not just a one-off thing. So, yeah.
That's a phenomenal undertaking. Most people, generally, when they're given time to do something around a game, usually it's just play more of it. So I think it's awesome that you're trying to at least direct that effort into a good cause. So that's phenomenal to hear. I'm pretty sure I'll be participating in some way with that event, but I'm terrible at planning my stuff. So I'm excited to see that. I'll definitely pop in the stream and
Awesome.
give some proceeds and whatnot. But with that being the case, I don't have a whole lot left to go over. So any last second things you want to say, shout out before we call it a night?
I just want to shout out all the people who are currently helping with the Heart and Soul series. You know, you've got Jude, you've got Mel. She's actually helping around with that too, which is absolutely awesome. Sight is helping out with that. Jaden, Hydrox helping out with that. Attract from Rozo's helping with that. There's a bunch of people. Cryptic's helping out with it. Celestial Esports helping out with it. Hiver helping out with it a lot. I don't know if I already said this, but M from my org helping out with it. Everyone's got a hand in this, and I just want to shout out all of them for that. All of the team managers on WGW, they're what making this possible for me to keep doing this every day. So you've got Jude, you've got M, Fish helping out with that, and it's just great. It's just great. I'm really excited for all of that. So regarding the Heart and Soul series, you've got Twitter. Pretty much all of our handles, the Twitter, the Twitch, is all HSS Cause, Twitter, Twitch. If you want to email us for whatever reason, hsscause@gmail.com. All the information's out there, and you're gonna be in at least one community that will put out an announcement sharing the server. The server is going public today, so it'll be there for everyone to join down the road to get involved in this. And the event will be on the 17th, starting at 10 a.m. Eastern, all the way to 10 p.m. Eastern. Our goal is currently $900 in donations, which I think is incredibly doable. I think it's very doable. The GoFundMe is linked in the HSS server and can pretty much be found on the Twitter or literally anywhere. Like I said, it'll be along with the Discord invite. So yeah, that's who I want to shout out. This is going to be a great thing, and you all are great people for wanting to be involved in this and making it as big as it can and will be. So, yeah.
That's good to hear. I'll make sure to include all the necessary stuff in the description of. Hopefully, I remember to upload this video. I should. And we'll probably make some sort of announcement that can make this a lot easier to find. With that being the case, thank you, Leo, for opening up a ton on this. Thank you for your time, and it's great having
Thank
you
you for
here.
having me. Thank you.
Yeah, we'll see everyone else later.